In the deep, humid heart of the Indonesian archipelago, where the mists never truly lift from the jagged peaks of the mountains, lies a secret that the local villagers only whisper about after the sun has set. This is not just a tale of ghosts or gold. It is a chronicle of a dark, supernatural bond born from blood and ancient curses. Deep within a cavern known as the Gua Arwah, two entities dwell in a terrifying harmony that has lasted for centuries, guarding a hoard of wealth that no mortal man was ever meant to touch. Today, we peel back the veil of mystery to explore the terrifying longing of the Jenglot and its companion, the Great Python. The story begins with the treasure itself, a king's ransom in gold, jewels, and sacred kriss daggers abandoned during a forgotten war. But this gold is not free. It is stained with the greed of those who died for it, creating a magnetic pull for the most sinister of spirits. It is said that the gold creates its own atmosphere, a cold, heavy pressure that can crush the lungs of any intruder. To ensure its safety, the spirits of the earth summoned a guardian of flesh and scale, an iridescent python of impossible size, whose body is as thick as an ancient tree, and whose mind is far more intelligent than any natural animal. It is the silent judge of the cavern. But the python was not alone for long. From the shadows of the spirit realm came the Jenglot, a creature no larger than a human hand, yet possessing a malice that could freeze a man's heart. With its long, matted hair, needle-like fangs, and tiny, desiccated humanoid frame, the Jenglot is a creature of pure spiritual energy and physical decay. It does not eat food, it drinks the essence of life itself. While many see the Jenglot as a mere parasite, in this cave it found something it had lacked for an eternity, a purpose and a companion. Together, the tiny terror and the massive serpent formed a pact of blood and shadows to keep the world away. The relationship between these two is one of rindu, a deep, aching longing. The Jenglot, once perhaps a powerful shaman who sought immortality through dark rituals, is now a lonely soul trapped in a withered husk. The python, though a predator, is the only living thing that can withstand the Jenglot's icy presence. They are seen by those few who survived as a twisted mockery of a family. The python provides the physical protection and the warmth of life, while the Jenglot provides the supernatural foresight to detect intruders miles away. They share a silent language, a vibration through the cave floor that speaks of eternal vigilance and a shared isolation from the world of the living. For generations, the villagers of the foothills have lived in fear. They tell stories of the night of the whispering scales, when the python is said to roam the outskirts of the village, not to hunt for meat, but to listen to the songs of the living, bringing back the melodies to the Jenglot who waits in the dark. No one dares to enter the woods after the third call of the owl. They know that to even look upon the treasure is to sign a death warrant. The air around the cave is said to be thick with the smell of jasmine and rotting meat, the signature scent of the Jenglot's arrival. It is a warning that few have the courage to ignore. However, greed is a powerful poison. Not long ago, 3 men from the city, armed with modern equipment and hearts full of arrogance, decided to challenge the legend. They believed that gold was just gold and that stories of tiny monsters were merely campfire tales to keep the locals poor. They arrived at the cave entrance at midnight, their high-powered flashlights cutting through the mist like knives. They didn't notice the silence, the way the insects had stopped chirping and the wind had died down to a deathly calm. They stepped into the Gua Arwah, laughing at the superstitions of the past, unaware that 4 eyes were already watching them from the dark. As they descended deeper, the temperature plummeted. Their breath turned to white vapor in the air. The leader of the group reached out to touch a gold statuette, but before his fingers could graze the metal, a low, rhythmic hissing filled the chamber. It wasn't just coming from one direction, it was everywhere.
Suddenly, the ground seemed to shift. The pile of rocks they were standing near began to uncoil. But Python, a titan of muscle and scales, revealed itself. Its iridescent skin shimmered with an unnatural light, and its eyes held a cold, ancient intelligence that paralyzed the men where they stood. The hunt had begun, and there was no escape from the Guardian's coils.
But the physical threat was only half of the nightmare. From the ceiling, a high-pitched screeching laugh echoed, a sound like metal scraping on bone. The Jenglot descended, moving with a supernatural speed that the human eye could barely track. It didn't attack with strength, it attacked with terror. One of the men fell to his knees, clutching his head as visions of his own demise filled his mind. The Jenglot perched on his shoulder, its tiny claws digging into his flesh, as it began to drain the very heat from his body. This is the terror of the legend, the realization that you are not just dying, but being consumed by a hunger that has lasted for centuries.
The python finished what the Jenglot started. With a strike faster than a heartbeat, it lunged, its massive jaws locking onto the intruders. There were no screams, only the sound of crushing bone and the heavy dragging of bodies into the deeper recesses of the cave. The treasure remained untouched, as it always does. The gold does not care for the lives lost in its name. It only serves as the bait for the two guardians to find their next meal and their next moment of shared purpose. By dawn, the mist had returned to the cave entrance, and the forest was silent once more, as if the three men had never existed at all. Now the Jenglot and the python sit once more in the silence of their golden tomb. Their hunger is sated, but the longing remains. They are bound together by a curse that denies them the peace of death, condemned to guard a wealth they cannot use and a cave they cannot leave. It is a love story of sorts, a dark, twisted romance between a spirit that cannot die and a beast that cannot fail. They wait for the next seeker, the next soul driven by greed, to break the monotony of their eternal watch. The treasure is still there, shimmering in the dark, waiting for you to find it. But remember, some things are better left lost.
Thank you for joining us on this journey into the dark heart of Indonesian folklore. The world is full of mysteries that defy explanation, and the tale of the Jenglot and the python is a reminder that some boundaries should never be crossed. If you enjoyed this dive into the supernatural, make sure to show your support. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on the world's most terrifying legends. Have you ever encountered something you couldn't explain in the woods? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, stay safe and keep your eyes on the shadows.